Okay, we just want to look at a few more examples of these factoring of these quadratic trinomials. So in example 1, we've got x squared plus 15x plus 36. So remember, what we're thinking in our head is we're looking for factors of 36 that are going to add up to 15. So in my head, I'm thinking about factors of 36, 1 and 36. Well, that doesn't work. I know we've got 2 and 18. Well, that's not going to work. 3 and 12. If I add 3 and 12, I do in fact get 15 as a sum, which means my factors end up being x plus 3 and x plus 12. And remember, you should never have to ask anybody if your factoring is correct, because all you need to do is distribute. And if you factored correctly, you should get back the exact same expression that you started with. So when we distribute, we've got x squared plus 15x plus 36, so ending up exactly where we started. Example 2, what is the factored form of m squared plus 6m minus 40? So again, we got to think of factors of 40. Now notice that this one has a minus sign. So remember, we talked about one of the things we could think of is instead of the factors adding to 6, we might think of the factors as subtracting to give us 6. So factors of 40 always start with 1 in the number itself. Well, no matter how I subtract, that's never going to be 6. I got 2 and 20. Well, that's not going to get it. How about 4 and 10? That works. If I take 10 minus 4, that equals 6. So notice that the 10 is the positive. So I have m plus 10. And I was subtracting 4, so it becomes m minus 4. And again, check yourself. Use distributive property. Example 3, this is another one of those rectangle questions. The area of a rectangle is given by this trinomial. Okay? So what we have to remember is that the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So what we're looking at here is x squared minus 2x minus 35 is equal to the length times the width. So we're trying to figure out what are the expressions for the length and the width. So basically we're just factoring. So I know it's x and x, and I've got negative 35. Well, what numbers are going to multiply to 35 but have a difference of 2? Well, that's going to be 7 and 5. I want it to be negative 2, so I know it's got to be 5 minus 7 in order to get that negative 2. So the possible dimensions would be a length of x plus 5 and a width of x minus 7. And the reality is that it doesn't matter which one I make the length and which one I make the width, as long as I have identified each of them as one of the dimensions of the rectangle. So you go ahead and try this one, same type of problem. So I'm going to factor. My 72 is a negative, so I'm looking for factors of 72 that subtract to give me 1. Well, 1 and 72, that's not going to work. 236, that's not going to work. But I know that 9 and 8 will. And in order to get negative 1, I'd have to take 8 minus 9 to get my negative 1. So it's going to be x plus 8 and x minus 9. Okay. So again, I'm going to assign each of those to one of the dimensions of the rectangle, and it doesn't matter which one goes where. So a couple more practice problems for you to do. Just go ahead and do these two problems and have those. I will be checking for those tomorrow. We'll see you then.